Greetings and salutations to you all. Mr. Classic here in Mr. Classic's haberdashery at the Manor. On today's episode of Conversations at the Manor, I would like to talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite suit accessories, the necktie. I always start my day off with a cup of tea. Today I'll be drinking an organic peppermint tea. All right, let's begin. I would like to take you through a few of my favorite tie knots today. Before we do that, I want to show you a cool trick to make sure that your tie blades are even every time. So if you take the bigger blade, the front blade, and fold it up to where it meets your collar, and even that out with the length of the back blade, the smaller one, every time you tie a knot, it'll come out perfect. So another thing, the type of shirt that I'm wearing, the semi-spread, this is going to be perfect for a few of the knots that we do today. The second to last one you're going to notice is a little bit too narrow for it. But regardless, it still turned out to be a nice tie. So we're going to take our bigger blade in our right hand, our smaller blade in our left hand. We're going to cross over bigger blade over the smaller blade and wrap that around till it comes all the way back to the front. Just like that. That's going to create our facing, the front face of the tie. Then we're going to push it through, so under and out, through that bigger loop. And then that front facing that we just created, we're going to push the bigger blade down through that hole and pull it tight. Next, we're going to take the smaller blade in the back and pull down. This is going to allow the tie to go up, and then squeezing the knot, you can work the tie all the way up to your collar. And there you have it. This knot is called a 4-in-hand. It's the simplest knot, and it's still rather elegant. All right, so we're going to undo that one and start working on our next knot. So the next tie knot we're going to do, I'm going to start the same way as the 4-in-hand, making sure that our blades are even at the bottom. And we're going to start with the same approach of the bigger blade in our right hand, smaller blade in our left hand. We're going to cross over, but this time we're going to go under and out first. And then you're going to take that and pull that to the right side. So under and out, and then to the right. Next, we're going to take that same big blade and wrap it around the back end of the tie. So that is going to create that facing again, the front of our tie. Next, we're going to take the big blade again and push under and over, back through that main loop. And then same thing as before, the front facing loop, we're going to push it through there. So down and out. Clean up the tie a bit by pulling down on the back blade to work it up to our collar, and then pinching and pulling down on the front blade, clean up the tie. And you can see the dimple that's created there. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is the half Windsor, or the little birdie. Very popular in the business world. Very nice. So we're going to undo that one now. Also, make sure that you use a tie that you're not too fond of when you're practicing tie knots, because it really puts a working on the ties, so you don't want to damage your really nice ties. Alrighty, so starting off the same way by making sure our points are where they need to be. But for this one, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to make that front blade a little bit longer than the back blade. And this is going to help with this tie knot because it's a little bit wider than the previous one. So starting off the same way, by crossing over the right over the left and going under and out through the main loop, just like the one we did before, but instead of to the right, we're going to pull that front blade to the left. And then taking that same blade, we're going to wrap it around the whole back of the knot, and then go down through the main loop. I can never get it. And then out to the right side now. So the first one was through and out to the left. Now it's through and out to the right. And you can see it's creating the back of the tie already. Now taking that front blade again, the bigger blade, we're going to wrap that around the front of the tie, and that's going to create our front facing again. So you can see the tie coming together now. And then we're going to go down and through the main loop again. And same as always, the front facing loop, push that front blade straight through there. And then clean up the tie, pulling down on that back blade and working the knot up to our collar. And as always, you want to make sure you clean up your knot. It's never going to be perfect when you first do it. So you have to work it out to where it looks good to you. So I want to show you real quick how to create that dimple effect. So we're going to go back one step. So before we push the front blade all the way through the facing loop, we're going to pull it out just a little bit. And then you're going to end up pinching the center of the tie. So pinching that center right there, and then squeezing that and feeding it through the main front loop. So pulling up and feeding it through, just like that. And while you're feeding it, you're pulling down on the front of the tie with your other hand. Now, once you do that, you'll start seeing the beautiful dimple effect being created in front of your tie. Then you do the same exact thing by pulling down the back of the tie blade, and cleaning it up with the front tie blade. But look at that dimple. Perfect. This, my friends, is the full Windsor, or the Windsor. And check the length. See, the back and the front blade are both even. Just beautiful. Now, of course, this collar is not meant for this tie, and that's what I was explaining earlier. For this tie knot, you would want to do a full cutaway shirt so you can really see the beauty of it. But nonetheless, still a beautiful knot. All right, so the last knot I want to show you happens to be one of my favorite knots, and just as easy as the four in hand. So we're going to do the opposite of what we did with the Windsor. Instead of the front blade being longer, we're going to have the back blade being a little bit longer than the front this time. Now, as I said, it's the same exact approach as the four in hand. So we're going to wrap it around all the way till we reach back to the front with the bigger blade. But this time, we're going to wrap it one more time. So we're wrapping twice around the front, and then same as always through the main loop. And instead of going through the front facing loop as we always did, we're going to go through the back loop. So we're going to push the tie down, tie front through that back loop and pull that one out. if I can ever get it out. That's why you use a cheaper tie. So what you see now is this nice effect that's created on the side of the tie there. This is what you want to accomplish. And then doing the same thing, working it up to your collar. We're going to create a nice, beautiful dimple on this one. So pinching the center of the tie and feeding it through while pulling down on the front blade. Cleaning it up, working it back up to your collar, and then voila. A beautiful, beautiful knot and a beautiful dimple with just the subtlest of effects and accents right there on the side of the tie. Beautiful. Now this is one of the main features here, the back blade being a little bit longer. Definitely a little touch of an accent there, the side of the tie knot. Absolutely beautiful. Now this right here, boom. This is taking it up to another level. Now you have two dimples. So this is when you take it from a regular tie to that beautiful Italian style. This, my friends, is called the Prince Albert. Now there's a specific reason why I love this tie so much. Myself, I like wearing contrasted blade ties. So the front blade of the tie will be a different pattern as well as color from the back blade. Just as this one, as you see, one of my favorite ties. So accomplishing that same knot with this type of tie will give you so much contrast and add so much more flavor and color to your wardrobe. When you really split apart those blades at the end, it's gonna be so beautiful. So we'll start the same way, making the back blade a little bit longer, going around twice with our front blade, just as the four-in-hand, and then under and out through the main loop. And then remember, not through the first loop, but through the back loop. So not that facing loop that we create at the end, but the very back loop. You can pull that through. And using the back blade to clean it up. And don't forget your dimple. That's going to really be the statement piece there. Using the back blade to work it back up to your collar. Now you really get to see beautiful contrast in that bottom blade hanging down. Of course, here we go, hold your breaths. Boom. Check out that beautiful contrast. Dark navy, the deep reds against that geometric pattern. So I call this one the contrasting Prince Albert. So that will bring today's episode to a close. I do thank you all for joining me on Conversations at the Manor, Mr. Classic, with a focus today on the necktie. Now, as you see, I am not wearing a necktie to end this video just because after tying so many knots, I'm about burnt out. So I decided to go with the open collar shirt look. So if you are in the area and you need more one-on-one, hands-on help in your wardrobe, and figuring out your image and defining a style for yourself, come visit me at Mr. Classic's Haberdashery. I'm right off 10th Street in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's design something classic together. So as always, I'm going to end as I began, and that is going to be with a delicious cup of organic mint tea. So I'd like to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Stay classy, my friends. Cheers.